Hey, guess what? Got a new webcam. Guess what else? I finally found that movie that I've been looking for. So yeah, these are my thoughts on um, The Adventures of Sinbad. So this is another Toei movie and another adaptation of the Arabian Nights folk tales. Although I guess the ones I've covered before were a little more based on Aladdin. Um, yeah, this is the first one based on Sinbad. Um, so yeah, I guess all I'm missing now is Alibaba. Um, but anyway, so the story focuses on Sinbad, who wants to become a sailor, and he has this little kid sidekick who also wants to be a sailor. Um, so one day, this old man washes up on the shore, and they find him, and he tells them about this island that has all these treasures. So they stow away on this ship, and when the captain finds them, he reluctantly lets them join in his crew. So yeah, along the way they have this princess join them, and she's like the typical princess who wants more, and her daddy, the sultan, just wants her to get married, or you know the story. And then there's the evil vizier, governor, whatever, who wants to marry her. So yeah, it's that typical stuff. Um, so yeah, along the way they head to the island to get the treasure, and the evil vizier, bad guy, um, wants the treasure, and he wants to marry the princess. Blah blah blah. I think he's villain's a little unfocused, I guess, but I don't know. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's like a pretty typical adventure story, and the characters are all pretty typical. We got the relatively boring hero, although he does have at least some kind of desire that he wants fulfilled, so you can relate to him a little bit. So I guess he's still a little bit better than like all those princes in like the Disney movies we've seen. Um, we got the boring love interest. We got a typical villain who doesn't really have much of a character beyond just being a bad guy. So yeah, this is probably the most boring portrayal of Jafar I've seen so far. Even though it's obviously not Jafar, at least not as far as I know. We got two bumbling comic relief characters. We got the cute little kid who's like the kid appeal. This is probably the first Toei movie I've seen that doesn't have like much focus on like animal sidekicks, although they are kind of present. Like there's this cat. There's a baby whale who pops in and out now and then, might help them a little bit. There's the princess has like this dove or something who like delivers messages and fetches items and stuff. Um, and yeah, the bad guy also has like this pet bat. So yeah, is there much else to say about like I mean, I can't really say much of anything about most of the characters. I mean, honestly, the closest this movie has to like an interesting character is the kid. Unfortunately, I mean, the kid's a little annoying, but I don't know. He's the closest thing the movie has to like an interesting character, because like he at the beginning you do see him getting like bullied by these kids about they're like picking on him because they're like, you'll never be a sailor or something like that. And I don't know, it makes him a little relatable. And, he does help a little bit at times. So he's not a bad character. Um, Nobody in this movie is really a bad character. They're just kind of boring and flat. Um, I don't know. I think the main draw of this movie is, it's a fun adventure film. Um, yeah, it's enjoyable, but yeah, there's not a whole lot of investment with the characters or anything. It's kind of like, yeah, I don't know. This is probably the most simple animated movie I've seen so far for this series. Um, I mean, the animation is actually really good. Um, and yeah, again, the action scenes are nice. I don't know. I liked it, but it's also kind of unremarkable at the same time. Um, so yeah, I honestly don't really have much of anything else to say. It's just a nice little adventure film, and if you're interested, give it a watch. Um, I'll recommend it. But yeah, overall, I guess I would give this a 7 out of 10. Um, I might I might have rated it higher if like the characters were a little more interesting, but you know they're not. They're kind of all generic. Um, so yeah. I mean, if there's anything I have to add, as usual, I'll put them in the comments. But yeah, that might be about it. I mean, this is one of the few movies I've seen so far, if not the only one that I've seen so far for the series that I watch it and I like enjoyed it fine, but like yeah, I just had very little to say, very few opinions that I formed, other than the fact that the characters are generic. So yeah, and the fact that there aren't that many animal sidekicks this time. But anyway, that's about all there is to say for now, at least. Yeah, as usual, I'll leave a comment if there's anything else. But yeah, I guess that's about it for now. So, mash it and smash it, signing off.